Good morning, everyone. Whoa. Welcome to Whatever Wednesday. I wanted to leave Wednesday to have some flexibility to it because I've certainly been on a roller coaster of emotions and energy levels throughout this, my Corona days. And I thought we would talk about getting out and going for a walk. Now, I don't know how many of you had to stand at your window this morning and rub your eyes like 10 times and go, holy shit, is that snow? I was not prepared for that, and I'm usually watching the weather. However, the snow came, and I said to myself, shoot, I wanted to walk with everybody today because I wanted to really encourage the beauty of simply walking. And I am fair weathered. So it took a bit for me. It always takes a bit for me in the cold weather to get outside. But I've got to tell you, it was gorgeous out. The sun is magical for me. And I hope it is for you. So what today is about is getting outside and walking. Now, here's the thing. You may be somebody who's been walking all your life, or for the past year, or for the past month, or whatever it is, and it's an easy thing for you to do. There's others of us who have always ran, and the thought of walking, I'm not going to lie to you, I poo-pooed it. It was just like, oh God, I'm not going to go just for a walk. It took me a very long time to get my head around the embracing of walking and taking my head down a bit. And I think a lot of it was my ego of just having to pound through. Now, don't get me wrong. I ran yesterday. I take really big breaks in between my runs so my body can repair. I try to keep my expectations realistic. So if my body's not working with me when I'm running, I just walk and I don't get wrapped up in it as I did years ago. But today I want to talk to you about walking. And one of the really fantastic creatures in my life that got me walking this year is my dog. And here's my story. So before I tell my story, basically today, you choose your song. I also have piles of podcasts. I want to encourage you to get outside and do something different. Go outside, maybe get a podcast on. Maybe pick up your pace if you've always walked a certain pace. If you're not a walker and you're freezing, I just encourage you to bundle yourself up with everything and go outside, even if it's just around the block. There are days when I will just walk around the block just to get my head out of my space at home and just give me a little bit of a reboot. It works every time. But all of this is what I would like to talk to you about is shifting my mindset. And a lot of times, for a huge chunk of my life, I believed life would go from A to B to B to C, C to D. And if there's a little blurb, well, geez, you just figure it out, don't you? And then you hit divots and you hit ridiculous walls. And stuff comes up in you that you never, ever would have thought. And that's judgment. So today is not about judgment. Today is not about huge expectations. Today is just about maybe stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of what you always thought you were, you should be, you could be. And my story it's a tough one, but I'm going to tell it to you. I've always had a dog. And love dogs, golden retrievers in particular. And basically, I think the kids were quite little. I had a beautiful dog, golden. Her name was Abby, and I had to put her down. I think she was about 14. It was super, super tough. And when I put her down, I had to come home to 4 small children, and I had to explain what had happened. So I got each of them a little gun, and 3 of them cried, and 1 of them laughed. And I was personally grieving because this dog followed me everywhere, all the way to the bathroom, to my bed, everywhere. She was my dog. You didn't even have to walk her on a leash. She's just gorgeous. And it was super, and I put her down by myself. And it was just like, ugh. Anyways, then the idea was that at the time I was married, and there was big discussion that we would not get another dog. And you know, I'm a funny bird. I had a lot of things in my head, and I was like, I'm a family, got 4 kids. How can we not have a dog? But I listened for a while. I know their work, and I don't know what happened. One day somebody came into work with a dog that was a year old, and they had gotten it from a breeder, and she was well trained and blah, blah, blah. So I contacted that breeder, and they said, no, we don't have any adult dogs, but we do have a litter, and you could come see. So I take the kids and I go see these puppies. You never go see golden retriever puppies and expect to walk out without one. It just doesn't happen. They're way too adorable. Anyways, long story short, we get the dog. At that time, my husband was so upset. He was, and it was really, really, looking back now, it was a really bad choice. It was an awful decision. But again, I kind of had this la la land attitude with my marriage that he would just come along and he would figure it out, and this would be, you know, it's okay. It's a good thing. It's just a dog, you know, but it didn't. It ended up being a bit of bone attention. And I had a really hard time training that dog. That dog's name was Zoe. I know, Zoe, she was bad, but she wasn't a bad dog. I couldn't train her. Tried to train her, and I did an awful job training her. And then I had 4 little ones, and they tried, and it just became really overwhelming. And then I separated, and so we were a week on, week off. Well, the weeks that I didn't have the children, I worked like crazy. I would work like 12, 14-hour days, and that dog would be left in the house. And it was awful, heartbreaking. Near the end, she started pooping. She was like, I think 6, 5. Anyways, and she started pooping all over, started eating stuff that she'd never done before. And it was heartbreaking. Anyways, as I felt fate happens, friends of a friend, their dog had just died. And they're just wonderful. They didn't have children, and they were dog lovers. Anyway, long story short, I made a huge, huge heartbreaking decision, and I gave Zoe away to this wonderful family. I explained their home as Taj Mahal. They were on the water, and they had lots of land for this beautiful animal to run. It broke my children's hearts. They were very upset with me, very upset. And I hung on to that guilt. I hung on to that guilt so heavy that I could not touch another dog for years. Couldn't touch. I'd be out walking, running, and I would do everything in my power to divert around that animal. Never, nothing. Then last year, I don't even know what happened. And I was walking actually in Boston Commons. And dogs everywhere. It's beautiful. You know, it was a lovely setting, and I bent down and I pet a dog. And I went, oh my God, I miss having a dog, but I can't have a dog. I've claimed I'm not worthy to have a dog. I can't take care of a dog. I gave away my dog. And yeah, so it was really tough. And so then I went to my partner a couple days later, and I said, this is what happened. I don't know, but I don't know. Like, could we have a dog? And then plus on top of his commitment, it's like a long ways down the road. And I don't know if that's really what I want either. Anyways, but he was super cool. And he said, well, okay, what are your obstacles? And I said, well, I don't want a dog with hair. Okay, well, let's look for one without hair. Training. I obviously suck at training dogs. He's like, I'm really good at training dogs. What else? And I was like, commitment. He's like, once the dog gets trained, if you want to travel, you want to do whatever, we can get a good boarding school. Not school, but you know what I mean. Anyways, and it literally happened like that. And then this thinking, I have never been in love with an animal more. This sweet little thing has got me out walking, and she has taught me to slow down. So here's the thing. I had to forgive myself. I really had to forgive myself. I had to let go of what I thought I was I had to be okay with the fact that I did the best I could at that moment in my life. I did the best I could. The best I could for that dog was to give her to a family that could give her everything that she deserved. And I also realized that I can do hard things. And that's a Glennon Doyle thing. It's phenomenal. But when you start thinking about it, sometimes the hard things aren't really, the training for the marathon or going out for those hard runs. They're difficult physically. But a lot of that really, really hard stuff, that's stuff inside of you. That's forgiving other people, forgiving yourself, letting things go. Just let it go. And maybe accepting that people change. Maybe accepting that you change. Maybe surrendering to what is happening in our lives right now, to just ease ourselves off of things that are out of our control, letting go of control and loving. Just love yourself. Just love yourself. You deserve it. There's nobody gets to say you don't, right? You get to. And there's nothing. We do the best we can in the moment, and that's it. That's it. So get outside. Get outside. Enjoy this gorgeous day. If you're working today, thank you. Thank you. If you're not, get outside. Take care of yourself. Take care of your heart. Take care of your soul. See you tomorrow.